All right, so we're going to speed up a little bit here, and we've talked about credit cards and payday lending and mortgage and some of those things. Why do we want to get out of debt? For you guys, what's a key reason that you would want to be out of debt, to climb out of that hole, to remove that weight that's on your back? And changing, if we're going further in debt and deeper in debt, change is painful. And a lot of times people won't change until the pain of where they are exceeds the pain of change. And so we need to try to be a little mindful again and think, what are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? And one of the first things to do is to stop digging. All right. So financial freedom, goals, stability, disposable income, money for retirement. So let's look at this. James is in love with Abby. Before proposing, he bought a beautiful $3,600 diamond engagement ring and paid for it with his high-interest Visa card. If the minimum payment is $60 per month and James only pays the minimum each month, how many months will it take to pay off his $3,600 credit card if the APR is 19%? How much interest will James pay on this loan? So as you can see, if he just pays the minimum on this ring, it's going to take him almost 16 years to pay off. And if you multiply that by the APR, he's going to make $7,842 in interest. That's interest, yes. That's more than 200%. If you add that to the $3,600 ring, then his total payments would be $11,442. This is just an example of using your credit card and paying the minimum payments and never getting it paid off. You're paying way, way, way too much for anything that you buy. And so instead, my suggestion would be to go and buy a zirconium ring that would cost maybe $85. Good job. That would be good. All right, let's talk about credit cards. Continue to talk about credit cards because these are a big problem, a big issue. And so this is another example. This is a $5,000 credit card. Instead of paying the minimum, you pay $200, and with the interest, which is 18.9%, and this will take 11.5 years to pay off, and you'll be paying $3,100 in interest. So for $5,000 of buying, you spent $8,100. And what this means is everything that you bought, actually, for every dollar that you spent, cost you $1.62 in real money. And so when you go and you look and you say, oh, that piece of furniture is nice, it's $1,000. Actually, if you're going to put on your credit card and pay it off like this, you have to times it by 1.62. So instead of $1,000, it's $1,620. And so we need to be mindful and be aware that don't just look at the monthly payment, but what is this actually costing us? And it's usually $1, in this case, $1.62 up per dollar that we spend. So this just shows a comparison. Last time when we talked about savings on the right, we saw this curve showing interest, and we start with not very much, but as that curve goes up and up and up, that's money in our pocket. We're earning interest versus the one on the left where we're paying $1.62 to 200% in interest. And so hopefully you guys want to, you feel the desire, your attitudes may be hopefully changing a little bit, that you don't want to be on the left side and paying off debt. You don't want to have debt paying all that interest. You want to be over here on the right side where the earlier and you start and the more money you put in, that curve in money is building, building, building. That's much more exciting. Marley, it's better to pay it off every month completely. Don't tell your wife. Yeah. All right, mortgage. I'm going to share something here that's a little, well, let's do a poll first. Let's see. We already did that one. So, well, let's do that one. So we just talked about this. What's the APR on a payday loan then? Remember? The person that had to go and borrow $550 for their rent and then paid $575, how much did they end up paying back? All right, so most of you were listening. Over 200%, it was 232, I think, something like that, 232%. So now let's look at this one. Nope, let's see, sorry. Is that the right one? This one. What is the interest APR for the first few years of a mortgage? Is it whatever your APR is? 4 to 6%, which is similar to possibly what your rate is. 25%, or over 250%. All right, 5 more seconds. Ending voting. So it's pretty mixed. Whatever your rate is, 4 to 6, 25%. All right, so this is the scary thing that I'm going to show you. It's the last one that none of you got, over 250%. All right, first, just to show you, this is the difference between a 15-year versus 30 years. You look there at the bottom, this is a $200,000 home, and on their interest rate on a 15-year mortgage is 4%, on a 30-year it's 4.5%. So on the monthly payment, which one do you pay more? Are you going to pay more monthly on a 15-year mortgage or on a 30-year mortgage? Here we go, 15, 30, 15, 15. You're going to pay more. The monthly payment is going to be higher on the 15-year, right? If you look on the bottom left, bottom middle there, it's $1,479. And on the 30-year mortgage, it's $1,013. But what's the difference in the interest? This is $200,000 home, but paying it off on a 15-year mortgage instead of a 30-year mortgage, your total interest on a 30-year mortgage is $164,000. Your total interest on a 15-year mortgage is $66,000. So that's almost $100,000 difference. You're paying $100,000 more to interest to the lender on a 30-year mortgage than the 15-year mortgage. That's problematic. But what happens, this is an example of 30-year payment schedule, okay, of the $200,000. So we see that we're paying on the 30-year mortgage $1,013.37. You see how much is going to principal? $263. And how much is going to interest? $750. You guys see that? Well, if you looked at that, and even if you go down to month 20, and it's $282 to principal and $730 to interest, you see each month that you pay, how much more goes to principal? It's 99 cents. $263.37. Then you pay $264.36. $265.35. So 99 cents less to interest and 99 cents more per month to principal. But what is this interest rate on this first month here? If it's $263 to principal, but $750 to interest, what is that? That is 285% interest rate. So the correct interest is, or the correct answer on your survey here was actually over 250%. 250%. Does this make sense to everybody? It's actually shows that the APR is 4.5%. But if you're paying $1,000 and $750 is going to interest and $263 is going to principal to pay your loan down, that month you paid 285% to interest. That's worse than the payday loan. The payday loan was 232%. This one's 285%. So is this a good deal? This is not a good deal. And so what happens is what? We go and we pay on it for a few years, 2, 3, 4 years, and then we refinance, and we refinance back to a what? A 30-year. Or we take our high interest credit cards and things and we refinance them back into our loan. And so every time we get a new 30-year loan or refinance back to a 30-year loan, we are going back to paying all of the money to interest and hardly any to principal. We're paying 250 to 300% to interest. The easy way not to do that is just to sign up for a 20 or a 15-year loan, because instead of $160,000 to interest, you're only going to pay $60,000 to interest. And so my encouragement as we're finishing up here, how to pay it off quickly and use the debt elimination or debt snowball program, is to include your mortgage and pay that off as quickly as you can, rather than think, I don't have to worry about that. And your tax savings isn't a reason not to pay it off either. Okay, so again, 15-year, 20-year mortgage. This just shows you can look at this again, but total payments that are going, you would say 30 years, 133,000 to interest. A 20-year would be 81,000, and 15-year, 52,000. So obviously, if you want to save money on interest and not pay that much, you just sign up for a 15-year. But again, you're going to be paying more per month. But if you choose a modest home and you're not house poor, that you can live in and get a 15-year mortgage, then you can live in a modest home, you can have afford the payments, not be house poor, and not pay so much to interest. Okay, anybody have any thoughts or questions? How to buy a home then without having to overpay in interest? Yes.